Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with JP8 Report, episode 283. All right. Boy, I'm glad I didn't write that one in there. So the title of the episode is Turning TPUSA Backs Vance in 2028. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Had a great time last night watching Avatar. That was a long movie, but it was really good. But I pulled my upper back and coughing, I was sneezing, and I pulled my upper back, so I'm in pain right now. So just forgive me. All right, I'll do my best to get through all this for y'all. Well, thank you very much for tuning in and bearing with me for the day. And please, if you're not a follower of the JPA Report, click that follow button for me, and then click that like button or the thumbs up button, and then give us a share if you can, okay? And so this is the America 250 part where the day and tomorrow, because tomorrow's Saturday, so I'll do America 250 today and tomorrow, and then on Monday I'll do Sunday, Monday, and like I said yesterday, when I do Tuesday's episode, I'm going to do, unless there's something really, really important that came out over the weekend or over Monday or something like that, I'm going to do America 250 for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'll get pretty much all that, and then I'll be off, not doing no podcast from Wednesday through Sunday, and come back on Monday and do the same thing again, okay? All right. So, where am I at? Oh, yeah, America 250. So, for the 19th of December, which is the day, there was a battle in Sullivan's Island. I believe it's near Charleston, down in South Carolina. And it was Patriot forces versus Brits. I printed off a diagram of it. I didn't put it on the comment section, but it's at carolina.com/sc/revolution if you want to look for it. Let's see. On the American side, Captain John Alston was the commander. We had 0 killed, 0 wounded, 0 captured. And then the British commander HMS Cherokee. He had 4 killed and 11 captured. Okay, so there's a little summary. A Patriot militia on the night of December 19th attacked a party of British troops encamped on Sullivan's Island, killing and capturing a few unlucky persons. With Sullivan's Island now cleared of British troops, the Patriots are now able to start construction on a defensive fortification on the island. Said at 7 a.m., Captain Alston and his 54 Indians surprised the British and burned the pest house. They destroyed some water tasks and burned Gunner George Walker's house. The Indians captured 4 white men, 4 women, and 3 children. 3 of the men and a boy were a crew from the HMS Cherokee. Several British soldiers hid throughout the night, and when they were taken off the island in the morning, they were fired upon by the Indians. So that's the Battle of Sullivan's Island down in South Carolina. Check it off as a Patriot victory. All right, and then the next for 20th of December, 1775, I have a letter from Jonathan Williams to John Adams. Dear Sir, I have heard of your return from Philadelphia and am exceedingly sorry I did not I had not the pleasure of meeting you as you passed through Providence. Yeah, funny, we were just talking about Providence, right? I want very much to consult you, sir, about entering the practice of law, and the favor you did me when an opportunity offered for my going into business at Portsmouth encourages me to make this application. I have for some time past had a great desire to enter the Army. I find the thoughts of it after my mother so much that I think it was ingenuous to further it farther. I have now turned my thoughts to the practice of law, and according to your advice, am determined to pursue my studies. I think a favorable opportunity now offers, and I wish to take advantage of it. You know, sir, I have been in the study of law for the period unnecessary into the introduction to court, and as the court is to meet here the first Wednesday in January, I want to ask you if you would think it'd be advisable for me to offer myself to be sworn, and if you should, whether it would not be necessary for me to have some credentials or recommendations from you. I am not determined to settle here that I shall leave for a future day, but I think if I was sworn in, I might perhaps to get some business which should relieve me from a state of idleness and have a tendency for me to fix to an application to my books. If it would not be so much trouble, I would like to oblige you for your advice. Some time ago, you put Hawkins' plea on the crown into my hands. I read him through and have since read Finch and Burns' Justice, and am now reading the Plowden's reports. I have several other books in my possession, which I would like to take good care of, and if possible prevent them from falling in the hands of anyone that would sacrifice them. They belong to you. I am exceedingly unhappy, sir, that I cannot immediately pay you for my education, but my father's absence and embarrassment of my family, it would make it at present difficult, sir. If you want a sum of money, I will exert myself to answer your purpose. I heartily wish you joy upon the honorable appointment lately assigned to you by your countrymen, and congratulate you as a patriot upon the late acquisition to our cause in Canada and the success prizes obtained at sea by the Vigilance mainly and others. My respects to Mrs. Adams. I hope she and all your family are well. I am, sir, your much obliged and sincere friend, John Adams. Okay, so he thought about joining the Army, then he decided to be a lawyer, and he wanted to get sworn in, and he wanted to pay for it, and at the end, he congratulated John Adams and congratulated him on being a patriot, which he was. If you don't know, John Adams was the second president of the United States. All right, so that was a letter from from John Williams to John Adams on the 20th of December, 1775. All right, I see in the chat. My buddy Rob talking about my shirt. I know, I don't understand it. No matter how far, if I go way back, it's still. But like I said, when I get the green screen gone, it'll be normal. I'm going to work on it this weekend. All right, so we got that done. Let's see. Have patience, my dear Padawan. You can laugh, Rob. Okay, so I got the Dalmatian Burger Group, in which I was talking to Rob just now, and he's been chiming in on my live chat. I know he went and bought one Wednesday. It'd be cool if he replies, tell us if he liked it or not. But these are the Texas Burger Group Dalmatian. They're right here in Copper's Cove. All their ingredients are homemade, especially their buns. And they're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 2 and 5:30 to 7, unless they sell out. They're located on the west side of Cove, behind Bush's Chicken. And they're, like I usually say, I like the armadillo. And so all the food is good. If you look over at the desserts, the fries are always good. But their cheesecake is really good too, and I've had their banana pudding before, which is awesome. All right, so now back to the JP8 report. First thing, the Warrior dividend. That's $1,776 that soldiers are receiving right now. You know, I've been seeing it on Facebook, and my daughter asked me because she's married to a soldier, and I found out the answer. It is non-taxable because it'll be paid out as an additional housing stipend to all soldiers, all military servicemen, not just Army. And they're supposed to get it before Christmas. So that's a good thing. So all these people are saying that it's a hoax, and no, it's the real deal. All right, people already getting it, already deposited. And I told my daughter this morning. She was like, she thought it was going to be taxable, but it's non-taxable. And then I saw also, since we're on the subject of being taxes and stuff, I took a chance and went to irs.gov, and I printed off this, right, about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, about deductions for taxes and stuff. You know, I was told that the taxes for, if you receive taxes, if you were taxed on tips in this year, you're going to get it all back, okay, when you file the next couple of months. Same thing for the first $25,000. No tax on overtime is another one. And I saw this that was commented on by some Democrats, okay? They'll do anything in their power to embarrass President Trump. So if you're filing jointly, or, well, see right here, qualified tips or voluntary cash and charge tips received from customers through or through tip sharing, maximum annual deduction is $25,000 for self-employed. Deduction may not exceed individual's net income without regard to this deduction. And then there's no tax on overtime, which is $12,500 for individual filers, or if you file jointly, it's $25,000. That's incentive to get married right there, right? Like a $12,000 bonus if you're married, filing jointly and working overtime. And then the deal of no tax on car loan interest. When you buy an American-made car in the United States and you finance it, you won't have to pay on the interest. It'll be tax deductible. All right. And a qualified vehicle's got to be a qualified vehicle is a car, minivan, van, SUV, pickup truck, or motorcycle with a gross weight of less than 14,000 pounds that has undergone final assembly in the United States. Okay? And the other one is deduction for seniors, that you'll get an additional $6,000 on your Social Security deduction, right? But if you're married, filing jointly, it's $12,000. So there's a lot of naysayers out there, but it's true about those tax deductions that the president was talking about. Don't let the naysayers try to talk you out of it. The president is trying his best to do what he needs to do to help the American people. It ain't his fault. For 4 solid years, the President Otto Penn and his motley group tried to screw us over, and they didn't care who they did. If you were against them, they went after you. You can say what you want to say, but like there's a headline right over here on my computer for the New York Post, and they were saying that the Biden DOJ and the FBI considered doing a campaign finance probe on former Senator Kristen Sinema, which she was a Democrat, and she walked away from the Democrat Party and became an independent, and they considered investigating for campaign finance laws. They're dirty. They don't care, and if they don't like you, they'll come in after you. That's why we have to keep Republicans in power. All right. And then the president. Another thing for the president. President Trump yesterday afternoon declared for all federal employees that December 24th, 25th, and 26th will be federal holidays. So, in essence, if you work for the federal government, you won't work from next Wednesday through Sunday unless you're like mission critical, right? Like those soldiers that got to pull CQ on Christmas Day. I remember those days. So Trump, 24, 26 December, federal holidays for all federal employees. It's a pretty cool thing right there. Man, if I was still in the Army, I remember when I was a private, the biggest thing you could do is try to buy people CQ or staff duty. Because, you got soldiers or NCOs that are like, man, I got duty and I got all this stuff planned for Christmas. And you go to that private and like, look, I'll give you $200 and if you take my duty, and that's a quick way to make some quick money. All right. I never had to do that. I don't know why, but I pull a lot of duty. Oh, because I refuse to. I'd rather pull the duty. Let's see. Read. Oh, yeah. So this is about the Brown assassin. Okay, the shooter. I was right. There was a connection between the Brown University shooter and the MIT professor. So the same guy, his name is Claudio Manuel Neves Valenti. And he was responsible for the shooting at Brown University. I just heard a little while ago that he was actually casing that building for weeks before the actual shooting. And it took a homeless person that confronted him to turn him in. And I hope that homeless guy gets the $50,000 reward for turning that guy in. My next question, I also heard this on, was Outnumbered just a minute ago, that one of the ladies on there said, well, why was there a homeless person living inside the basement of the engineering building? Good point. So what is the security for your students or your children that are going to school there with no accountability who's inside the building? That needs to change immediately. All right. So this guy, Claudio Valente, he entered the United States. He went to Brown University like in 2001, right? And I don't think he finished or something. He came back to the United States in 2017 on a DV1 immigrant visa, which is a lottery visa. And then And then somehow in 2017 he was granted permanent legal status in the United States, and then on a visa, right? And he somehow overstayed the visa, so I guess technically he's illegal. I'm not sure. I mean, he's dead now, and that the person that he killed at the MIT was they had gone to school in Portugal, because that's where the guy is from. He's Portuguese. So there's a whole lot of questions that need to be answered. But last night he killed himself in Salem, Oregon, inside of a storage unit. So this Fox News article says authorities identified the suspect in Saturday's mass shooting at Brown University, which led 2 students dead and 9 injured during a finals week review session, as the same man believed to have carried out the murder of the renowned nuclear scientist at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. His name is Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, according to Providence Police. He was found dead Thursday evening. Authorities announced at a press briefing Thursday evening. I watched that entire briefing. After the law enforcement officers in tactical gear were seen outside the storage unit linked to him in Salem, New Hampshire, for hours. Neves Valente, 48, was a Portuguese national who studied at Brown from fall of 2000 to the spring of 2001 to study physics. Okay, fall, that's 1 year. According to Brown President Christina Paxton. But he went on a leave of absence and ultimately withdrew in 2003. A man with the same name was also terminated from a monitor position at the Instituto Superior Técnico in Portugal in 2000, school records show. Authorities said they believe it is the same person as the killer. At the same university attended by renowned MIT nuclear professor Nuno Luterio, who suffered a fatal gunshot wounds Monday at his home in Massachusetts, 50 miles from from Brown. Let's see. Rhode Island authorities said the investigations were being handled by Massachusetts authorities, who spoke for themselves. Leah Foley, for the United States Attorney, for the District of Massachusetts, later confirmed that Valente was suspected in that murder also. So it just goes on in there talking about everything that happened, but they're not really saying anything except for that homeless person is the one that turned in the tip, and he should be the one that gets it. Now, the president and Secretary Christian Noem from Homeland Security, they suspended the DV1 program immediately for under review. So that lottery system is not applicable right now. All right. Man, I'm in so much pain right now, guys. Let's see. Milwaukee County judge found guilty of obstructing federal immigration agents. That was Judge Hannah Dugan. She was found guilty of, I think it was like 6 counts and stuff like that. But what it is, she heard that federal ICE agents were outside of her courtroom wanting to take this illegal alien into custody. And then she took the illegal alien and snuck her out the back of the chambers outside and let him go. And so they arrested her for violating federal law. All right? I'm glad she got convicted. This is another Fox News article. A jury found Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan guilty of obstructing federal immigration agents during an attempt to serve a warrant at a courthouse earlier this year She faces up to 5 years in prison on a felony obstruction count. Dugan was arrested in April after helping Eduardo Flores Ruiz avoid plainclothes immigration customs enforcement agents who were trying to serve him a warrant. Prosecutors said Dugan helped Flores Ruiz and his attorney exit her courtroom through a back door on April 18th after learning that ICE agents were in the building to arrest him. It took jurors only 6 hours of deliberations to find her guilty, and they acquitted her on a misdemeanor count of concealing an individual to prevent arrest. But she got the felony one. And then that's enough for that one. All right, but she's gone. All right, so the next is I'm missing a sheet of paper. Oh, there it is. All right, so I'm back. Okay, so TPUSA backs JD Vance for POTUS 2028. That's what Erica Kirk said yesterday. And I fully agree, because I think he's the best choice for the Republicans. He's a millennial. He's a former Marine, a service member. He's married. He came from a very poor family and just worked his way up. He knows what he's talking about. He's a conservative, even though he went to Ivy League school. But that's his only deficiency. But Turning Point USA CEO Erica Kirk welcomed attendees Thursday to the conservative organization's first AMFEST conference since the death of her husband, founder Charlie Kirk, paying tribute to her late husband and his mission, while also endorsing Vice President J.D. Vance to be our next president. It's good that she did that so early, because not this January, but next January, the field is going to pile up fast, okay? So might as well get in on the gig while you can, and so he can solidify his stance as a front runner and to win the nomination. But what I'm surprised is the fact that Charlie and I, again, will go wherever we need to go, but so will you. That's why you guys are here, she said at the conference in Phoenix, Arizona. All of you here are because you're now saying, I want to do something. AMFEST was her husband's Super Bowl, she said, and she was honored to carry on its legacy as conservatives continue to mourn his assassination. What I have learned so much within these past 3 months, again, the enemy, that he will never win. We know we're on the winning side, she said. God is so good. God is great. He is so great. She noted 80% of the attendees that never attend the TPUSA event have never attended a TPUSA event. The conservative organization has seen an explosion in interest since the assassination, which galvanized students on campuses across the country. In an apparent dig at podcaster Candace Owens, Erica Kirk quipped that Egypt was not one of the countries represented by attendees at the event. Owens was presided numerous conspiracy theories around the Kirk assassination, including that a mysterious Egyptian plane could be linked to his killing. Kirk said she had learned who she could rely on and pray with those over the last 3 months since her husband's death, and she also joked that far-left podcaster Joy Reid could use a really good hug, and she even touched the back of her head. Reed recently disparaged Kirk's attire, saying she wasn't in widow wear, if that's such a thing. In the way that she embraced Vance at a Turning Point event earlier this year. Kirk rattled off statistics about Turning Point's remarkable growth since September 10th, including more than 1 million students involved, 3,082 Club America chapters, which is Club America chapter is a club in a high school, okay? Not in the colleges, but in the high school. And then 1,432 college chapters, right? She said the organization would help ensure President Donald Trump's Republican Party kept control of Congress for the entire term, and then said it would be that it would get her husband's friend J.D. Vance elected for 48 in the most resounding way possible. The next commander-in-chief will be the 48th president. All right. There are many ways to get involved, she told attendees, but that's why Charlie built Turning Point USA the way he did. He didn't care about your race, your age, or your background. All right. So, yeah. So they got AmericaFest going on in Phoenix right now, and it concludes tomorrow night. And they got all kinds of slew of conservative speakers talking there. I was just watching some of them talking just a few minutes ago before I came on the air because they're live. Oh, look, it's Karl Rove. Oh, he's actually talking about bad stuff about the Democrats, because he's used to torching Republicans nowadays. All right, so about J.D. Vance, I fully support him myself. Right? If you ever watched the movie Hillbillyology, it's based on a book that he wrote. You understand his whole upbringing and stuff if you watch it or read it. All right. I'm 33 minutes in. Let me get something to drink. Let's stretch my back just a second. All right. Let's go. Before we get back on the second subject, hey, don't forget to click that follow button and click that like button, please, okay? And then I am going to read something real quick. Just give me a second here. It's hard when you do this by yourself. Okay. And I'm going to read this real quick. You probably noticed Rumble is growing fast and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators and actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, which I have, as an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruptions, and just the content you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scene drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off for annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium and use the code STUDIO, STUDIO, at checkout. And that's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal. already. So I had to read that real quick. All right, so I just did that. So here in Texas, when I like to read from the Texas scorecard, and Addie Hovland wrote an article. She published it yesterday, and it was dealing about the border. And nobody cares about the border, right? Well, we should care because Trump secured the border. Nobody has been admitted. There's been no releases since he's taken office, right? So, in response to that, Addie wrote an article under strengthened border policies of Trump administration. 0 illegal aliens have been released at the border in the past 7 months, and there has been an overall decrease in the yearly number of apprehensions. U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported that the number of illegal border crossings actually nationally was even lower in November than the historically low number seen in October. According to CBP Commissioner Rodney Scott, this is the 7th straight month of 0 releases at the border, making it a truly most secure border in history. In contrast, during the Biden administration, over 7,000 illegals were released on parole by the Border Patrol in November 2024. That's the month Biden got well, he didn't get defeated because he quit. But yeah, that was in November 2024. Data from the start of 2026 fiscal year, which was 1 October, which began 1 October, shows November encounters lower than October for a national total of 30,375. This is 92% lower than the peak of 337,883 experienced during President Joe Biden's tenure. Border Patrol has seen a 95% decrease in daily apprehensions, while CBP has been a 95% drop in monthly apprehensions at the southwest border. CBP also reports a significant increase in drug seizures from October, thank goodness, which includes a 59% increase in fentanyl seizures, a 40% increase in cocaine seizures, and a 118% increase in methamphetamine seizures. In the first 2 months of the new fiscal year, 112,000 pounds of drugs have been seized. And during that first 2 months, they weren't getting paid, right? They did this for free and captured all this. Officials from CBP has been key in implementing the President Trump's tariffs with a total of $266 billion collected. Celine Rodriguez, a border security immigration expert from the Texas Public Policy Foundation, told the Texas scorecard that although the U.S. has strengthened border security, it does not mean the border is completely closed. There are many parts of the southern and northern border are lacking personnel and technology, allowing for exploitations. That's why we have the military down there too. According to Rodriguez, when Texas officials arrest individuals for human smuggling, which has occurred several times in the past year, the Foreign Terror Organization designation should be fully utilized against Mexican cartels to prosecute all human smuggling for working with a terrorist organization. The tools are in place. We must fully leverage all of them to not only secure the border, but harden our internal defenses against all cartel networks to ensure they cannot continue to operate in Texas and across the nation, said Rodriguez. Very true. Very true. Just saying, if someone gets through and they're not captured, right, that's an additional person they can commit a violent murder or mass shooting in our country, just like what happened in Washington D.C. or New York or wherever, Dallas, Texas. You just keep counting everywhere. Not just that, you have illegal aliens that were driving 18-wheelers. There's thousands of them that were able to get driver's license along the West Coast and in New York, right? That's why Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, is threatening to withdraw state funds from these states if they won't clamp down on these CDLs, right? But they bring drugs in, they bring girls in, they do illegal things like with driving. We just had someone in Texas killed by a drunk driver that was driving an 18-wheeler, which was what do you call it? An illegal alien. Man, I'm going too fast. But yeah, so I'll go to another subject because I'll get. And then I got a funny one I'm going to read in just a second. Okay, so that's not it. Yeah. All right. So, in California, they got that Prop 50, and they're trying to run Republicans out of California, right? Which hopefully their case gets thrown out for Prop 50. But while they're at it, in Los Angeles or Orange County, there's a Republican named Young Kim, right? And then she had a candidate. What did I write down on her first? California Democrat uses the wrong picture of Jasmine Crockett for endorsement posts. So, a campaign website for California Democrat congressional candidate mistakenly promoted an endorsement from U.S. Representative Jasmine Crockett using a photo of a different black woman instead of the Texas Democrat. Okay. So, did it go? Yep, there it is. All right. Does that look like Jasmine Crockett? Not even on a bad hair day, right? Not even on a bad hair day. So the lady up in the top left is running for Congress, and she couldn't even verify her own ad. All right. So the website was for Esther Kim Verrett. They removed the image Thursday after Fox News Digital inquired about the error. Racist, arrogant, totally out of touch. Good thing at Esther Kim Verrett, hate-filled, bigoted self isn't getting anywhere near Congress. Christian Martinez, the National Hispanic Press Secretary for the National Republican Congressional Committee, wrote on X. I'm going to have to go look that one up. Verrett, owner of various small fires, a chain of art galleries in Los Angeles, which means she's rich, and she probably inherited it rich, in Los Angeles, Dallas, and Seoul, is running to unseat Congresswoman Young Kim, a Republican representing California's 40th congressional district, which includes portions of Orange County, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. Verrett, a child of Korean immigrants, called Kim, who was born in South Korea, an ESL puppet, English is a second language puppet, on a social media post, also criticizing the Trump administration's immigration policies. So the story is not unique. It's a story of many. Okay. So the deal is, I'll bring it back up one more time. This part Korean lady couldn't figure out what she was doing, and she put the wrong picture of a Democrat on her website as an endorsement, unless that one is well, she's not a U.S. representative either. So maybe Miss Kim can keep her seat. That is definitely not Jasmine Crockett. All right, so we got that out of the way. Tonight, President Trump is going to be at he's going to be in North Carolina, and he's going to speak at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, come on. I'm talking. Y'all are distracting me. All right. Trump will hold an evening on the on affordability as he teams up in a crucial southeastern state with Michael Whatley, a former national chairman, a former Republican National Committee chair, and clear frontrunner for the GOP nomination in the 2026 race to succeed retiring Republican Senator Tom Tillis. Whatley is likely to face off with former two-term Democrat Roy Cooper in what's expected to be one of the most expensive and crucial Senate battles in the country as the GOP works to hold its 53-47 majority in the chamber, and rising prices will be the top issue on the campaign trail. I already took those slides down, but you remember yesterday and Wednesday night when the president was talking about how prices are dropping, and there's a reason why the president put those posts up, right? So the mainstream media, or I'd say the lamestream media, will have no choice but to show it to the American people, because all they do is they yell at the top of their lungs that everything is more expensive, but prices in reality are starting to drop, right? Immensely. Low propensity MAGA voters and other Trump supporters don't always head to the polls in elections when the president's not on the ballot, which is a major concern for Republicans during next year's. I don't know. I can't believe they actually put that line in there. That's why Whatley, a former state GOP chair to whom Trump handpicked in 2024 to run the RNC, has urged this summer to run for the Senate and would love to see the president return North Carolina numerous next times next year. They've closed the gap to maybe 1,000 vote registered voter difference between the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. So there's a good chance Michael Whatley will be the next U.S. Senator from the state of North Carolina. He is fantastically popular in North Carolina, Whatley said of Trump. He is the most. He has a real affinity for the state. The voters love him, and it will be very, very good to see him, to get him back in North Carolina. Let's see, where was that at on here? Would you believe, I wrote it down here, I meant to say it earlier, but would you believe AOC said if she had a matchup between her and J.D. Vance in 2028 that she would stomp him? I don't know I don't know what she was doing, but she actually said that she could actually stomp him. I think he will more than wipe the slate of her across the country. Okay, so we know Howard Lutnick was talking about how 2026 is going to be an extraordinary year, and he said that as the CPI yesterday, which I reported a little bit, dropped to 2.7% in November. Well, what he was saying was that the Members of the Trump administration are highlighting an unexpected low inflation report because they were expected to be at 3.1. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said the drop-in is proof that the White House policies are finally pushing down prices, responding to Democrats who argue the administration hasn't done enough to improve the economy, period. And I'm going to add to it, since President Otto Penn and Vice President Kamala, I want to spend $1.7 billion and blow a race, Harris, tore up our entire country over the last 4 years. And these Democrats are expecting Trump to fix it overnight, which they took 4 years and tore it to shreds. And it's just going to take time to fix it. The Labor Department reported that the inflation eased to 2.7, down from 3.3% in September, and Democrats have criticized the administration, saying it should show more improvement in economy after its first year. Yeah, like y'all did 9.1% and totally crushed the American public, where they couldn't even buy toilet paper and bread and especially eggs. Lutnick blamed the drop on the fake news, arguing the media isn't showing Americans the full economic picture. You got the president fighting for drug prices to be lower, fighting for energy prices to be lower, fighting for interest rates to be lower. These are the three big pushes. If the mainstream media would honestly report on the successes of President Trump, he would have an approval rating in the 60s right now, but they choose not to. They choose to divide our country and ally themselves with the Democrat Party and just shun everything that the president could invent. He could invent a cure for cancer, and they would call it evil. That's plain and simple. So they really don't care. Before I go forward, I got a couple more things. I'm not even going to get through to the rest of this stuff, I know. Don't forget to click that follow button, and don't forget to click that share button, and please give us a like also, okay? I appreciate everyone bearing with me. I can barely breathe, which means when you can barely breathe, you can barely think, because everything's clogged up right now. See? Sorry. I hope I didn't embarrass anyone. The U.S. Senate last night confirmed 97 more Trump appointees, which means they have confirmed up to 417 appointees over the course of the first year of his administration, and that would be compared to Biden only had 365 nominees confirmed in his first year. So President Trump has a vast majority of his nominees confirmed now. And that would be including former Representative Anthony Esposito. He is going to be the IG for the Labor Department. Matter of fact, he's rumored that he's only going to stay just a few months so he can get that tick mark alongside of his name, and he's going to run for Congress again for next year. He barely lost the last term, right? And also, one of my favorite people I love to listen to from Fox News, Tammy Bruce, got confirmed as the deputy representative for the United Nations under Mike Waltz. He's the ambassador for the United Nations. So, Tammy Bruce, congratulations. That was well deserved for you. The vote in the Senate last night was 53-43, and I think they did that under the consent agenda, where they took a vote, and that was all. There was no debate. You either approve it or you disapprove it. But Tammy Bruce and Anthony Esposito both got confirmed last night. That was 97 appointees. Hold on. Oh, my back is tightening up. Governor Bill Lee from Tennessee issued a pardon yesterday for Jelly Roll. Okay, Jelly Roll, his name is Jason DeFord. He's a very good singer. He's turned his life around. He's a Christian. But earlier in his life, he went to prison because he was involved in drugs, and he got a conviction on robbery also. He did his time. He's reformed himself. He actually said yesterday he would like to get his ability to get a weapon again because he misses going hunting, and he understands why the laws are in place as they were. But then here it is. Governor Lee issued a pardon for him, along with 30 other people in Tennessee, which is good. That's a very gracious Christmas present he got from the governor. All right. Another thing is the Department of Justice is supposed to release several hundred more files dealing with Jeffrey Epstein today, and then some next week. The Australian Prime Minister, he's trying for more gun restrictions. In 1995 or 96, when they had that mass shooting, I believe it was in Tasmania. I think that's a little island just south of Australia. But they effectively ended the right to own weapons in Australia right after that happened. Now they have a terrorist attack. 15 people were killed, I believe. And they were using shotguns and bolt-action rifles. How much more strict do you think you can get with your gun policy there in Australia if now you want to restrict shotguns and bolt-action rifles? I guess you can only own a sling and be able to go hunting with. But that's why we have the Second Amendment in our country to stop nonsense rules and regulations as they're trying to do down there. I used to think if I could never ever live in the United States, I would like to live in Australia. Not no more. Not no more. Even after, if the Democrats ever take over again, I can't see me leaving the United States because everything else is not even close to being as good as we have it here right now. Man, I wish I could breathe. Okay, is there anything else I could read real quick before I sign off? Let's see. I still didn't get to the Minnesota stuff. I might have to write that off. Yeah, here's one. Here's one I didn't get to cover. U.S. District of Columbia, Janine Pirro, on Monday, which is a couple of days ago, said that months-long federal investigation uncovered widespread misclassification of crime reports by the Metropolitan Police Department, making crime stats across the Washington, D.C. artificially lower. Would that be obstruction of justice and fraudulently filling out official forms? Pirro and the findings said the findings were based on a review of nearly 6,000 reports and interviews with more than 50 witnesses, showing that D.C. crime numbers were significantly understated. You can't fire the police chief because she already resigned, or she's about to leave. But yeah, I think I think she could. Well, it's going to happen in D.C. You're going to get a liberal grand jury as it is. See, that's why the president needs authority to appoint the people he needs to appoint. All right. Oh man. Oh. Let me get a drink of water, and I'm going to finish up here, guys. Okay, so before I pass out over here, don't forget to watch The President tonight at 9 o'clock on the East Coast. All right, before I forget. All right, so if you want to find me, I'm on X, Facebook, and YouTube, and True Social. Okay, there's my different usernames I got on each one of them. You can go check us out. All right. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I only broadcast here. The rest of the day, I'm going to be probably taking a nap. I got to go to a gun shop in a few minutes if I can talk, and because we're going to do an auction at our Lincoln Reagan dinner, and I'm going to see if I can get a weapon so we can auction it off, and then I'm going to come back and get some rest, and then under duress, I blinked twice because I'm under duress. My wife is going to make me watch Oklahoma play Alabama tonight, in which she is a steadfast, dedicated, I love it forever Oklahoma fan. And I married an Oklahoma fan. She's an Oklahoma girl. She loves it, but she never misses. Let's put it like this. On our 20th, that'd be 2005, on our 25th wedding anniversary, I took Ann to IHOP for breakfast. There's a little bit of change up. We did a breakfast, right? So we went to IHOP, and right when we sat down, it was a late breakfast, and she opened up her tablet and put the Oklahoma-Texas playoff game on. This was 7 years ago. The Oklahoma Sooners took precedent over me on our anniversary. And I'm still here. That means I love her a lot. But yeah, so I got to watch the Oklahoma-Alabama game. And at the root on Oklahoma, barely. Okay? Matter of fact, I don't like Alabama either. But I know I'll probably make a whole lot of people mad by saying that. But hey, that's how it goes. So just a little recap for next week. I'll do a regular podcast on Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to do America 250 from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And if anything really important happens over between Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to report that also, right? And then the following week, I might just do Monday and Tuesday and maybe Wednesday, right? Wednesday is New Year's Eve. I don't know. I might not. So it may be Monday and Tuesday next week, and the following week it may be Monday, Tuesday also, right? So I don't have anything else. Has anyone got anything for me? Don't forget to click that like button and give me a follow. Even if you're watching me on demand over the weekend and stuff, give me a thumbs up and a follow. I really appreciate that. Pray for these sinuses. All right. So this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.